been a bit of a mishmash in all honesty this season, because the squad, what it was before, up until Christmas to what it is now, is completely changed for one reason or another. And there's been different reasons. Some of the boys, because we missed a year of COVID with the COVID year, some of the boys were a year older. And when it sort of became clear Christmas, some of those older lads in their last year, they didn't think they were going to get maybe where they wanted to be with the first team. They decided to move on, but they've done that before we could bring any players in January. This was sort of October, November time, so we had to just then promote up from the under 18s and bring players through a bit earlier than we'd like to. But overall, I would say after Christmas we got some players in. I would say we've beat some of the top teams and we've lost games, but at the same time it's probably more about the players' development than what it is about winning.
And with 2 games to go, would you say the league position, does that reflect the season fairly?
I'm always going to say no, but I genuinely don't believe it is. Circumstances for the last 5-6 weeks has probably been working on our worst run of the season, and that's been due to a lot of injuries which we've had all season, but more so in the last 5-6 weeks. And a lot of, you're asking a lot of maybe 15, 16-year-olds to come up and play. That's fine if they're coming up and the team is strong around them. But obviously when it's a wee bit depleted and there's maybe 4 or 5 of them at the same time, it's hard on them as well. So I would say no over the course of the season, because we've actually beat, as I said before, we've beaten the likes of your Queens and your Ballinamallords, Newries. They're all around the top of the table. We've had good days against all those teams, but on the other hand, there's games where maybe we expected to win, which we didn't. So, but that's the nature of under-20 football too, because the team changes so much from week to week, be it with first team involvement or players going to the first team or injuries, which we've had a lot of. So it's hard to find this sort of consistency, but that's the same for every team, so I'm not making excuses there, That's obviously, I'm talking about results here in under 20 football. That's obviously the main thing is the club and the first team. That's what it's all about. So the main thing for us is to try and bring players in, improve them. We've got a good coaching staff here at the 20s, hopefully they'll all learn. The likes of Bobby, became aware he was maybe interested and available in January. There was a few others were brought in January, Bobby being one, and straight away you could see his quality. I think everybody could, and but above that, he's such a good lad with a good attitude, and that will take him a long way. I'm convinced that Bobby will be, he can go as far as he wants in the game. But again, we brought him in to help ourselves in January, and he quickly moved up to the first team. So I'm delighted with that. That's what I want. That's what I want for more than just him. Well, I don't like singling out players, because there's quite a few. Obviously, if you look at, just for talk's sake, if you look at Oliver McGrath, he's scored I think 23 goals this season. He's probably been available for half of the games. He's had quite a few injuries and whatever else, illnesses and stuff. If he could be available a bit more often, I think he's someone that could, I'm only looking from the outside in the first team. Maybe goals was a problem, maybe if he's someone that could maybe do that job, but at the same time he'd need to be a bit more consistent with being available. But certainly, there's just using him as an example, there's one. There's 3 or 4 others there. We've only signed them in January there, so they're still bedding in. But I can see, I can see 2 or 3, possibly 4 there at the minute. Next year may be the year for them then. Hopefully get a chance to push on. Well, obviously, as I say, as a manager, no matter what level and anyone tells you this, tells you it's not about winning, they're lying. We do want to win games, and we want to be higher on the table, which I think we should have this year. But as an under 20 manager, the main goal is always the first team. What can you produce for the first team? If that's success really. And yes, if we can win games along the way, that's going to bring confidence, and maybe other players looking in from outside may want to be part of that as well if you're doing well. So winning breeds success, and that success means if we can get players into the first team as well.